To start, let's understand that the feminine doesn't go through a journey per se. Rather, there's 7 primary archetypes of the feminine. Now, this goes back, you can look back at Jung philosophy, any of the spiritual readings really. It all goes back to some version of these 7 archetypes. Now, they may be named different, but they embody similar themes. So let's give you guys an overview and let's talk about the 7 archetypes. And as we're talking about this, start to think about where are your tendencies. First up, we have the maiden. So the maiden, if you can imagine just what a maiden is, she is the embodiment of youth and innocence, and there's a girliness, a playfulness about her. So generally this archetype, innocence and playfulness, she's unawakened because of her innocence. She hasn't been exposed to a lot of different things. And so that comes with a huge potential for growth. In the maiden archetype, the woman relates to other people. The way she relates to other people, that becomes her identity. So for example, if a woman identifies herself as so-and-so's husband, or her father's daughter, or the sister of, her sibling, that may be an indication that she's in her maiden, because her identity is based off of this reliance, this relationship to someone else. The second archetype is what's known as the huntress. Now, the huntress is the boldest archetype of the 7. She's all about autonomy and inner strength. In other texts, she may be known as the wild woman. She knows how to persevere and fend for herself. And these women, or at least this archetype, is the bold, the courageous, the badass woman. The great thing about the huntress is that not only does she persevere for her values, she becomes a voice for other more vulnerable women who may be missing that voice. She is the voice for the people who can't speak up for themselves. Now, the third one is the lover. The lover is the embodiment of sacred sensuality. She's magnetic, she captivates, she enchants, and she's all about love. Being able to touch people with her words, her feelings, the way she cares about people. And anyone who is in her vicinity feels her. They're uplifted by her energy. Okay, the fourth one, a lot of us are familiar with this. This is almost the classic archetype for feminine, the mother. She is the one who cares deeply for those around her, not only her child, of course, with her kids, but also everyone that she tends to. It may be her husband, it may be for her family, her parents. She gets satisfaction by being able to serve and nurture others. She is loving. The fifth archetype is the sage, otherwise also known as the wise woman. The sage pursues a path of self-improvement with discipline. She's not afraid to let go of past versions of herself when they no longer serve. The sage is all about learning new things, experiencing new things. Think of the wise woman, just what that means to you, right? She's wise, she has experience, she taps deep into her intuition, and she is sage, she is wise. The sixth one is called the mystic. This is the spiritual side of femininity. A quiet soul who enjoys solitude, being alone, being at peace. She is the most spiritually inclined. She's also the calmest personality of the 7. Now, there are, of course, there's always pros and cons of each of these types. For the mystic may commonly feel misunderstood. It's easy to get pretty lonely if mystic is the main archetype that women live from, because it's all about solitude, right? There's an amount of self-reflection, but it also is most separate from people. And then the last one is the queen. The queen is ambitious. She is a natural leader. She is the sovereign of her world. She leads, she knows her worth, and she values the finer things in life. You know, a queen is someone who leads and manages a community. She is seen as the leader of that community, and she has power. Not the masculine, forceful power, but she's got a grounded power. She knows her worth, and she owns it completely. So those are the 7 archetypes. Often, women go in between a couple, right? Is very few times are women ever in just one in any phase. We as women, we have access to all 7 archetypes, which is sometimes challenging because it may be difficult to manage all 7. And more commonly, we tap into 1 or 2 or maybe 3 of these archetypes more fully than the rest.